This is Castellamare di Stabia in the Gulf of Naples, and this motorboat is the DC7 Sport by Della Pasqua. It is a 7.75 metre motorboat, one like many others. Well, actually, it's not at all like any other, aside from its colour. It was designed on the basis of a winning hull, but we'll see this aspect later on the waves, at the controls. Its streamlined profile, black, is known to be slimmer. Its slender bow, its bridge house drawn by the wind, its low sides and centre of gravity. On the bow there is the sun deck, wide and well encompassed by the sides, padded to give comfort and protection. We can change the configuration, and here it is transformed into a dining area. They have already designed the version with a raised pontoon in the bow and the cabin below as well. Here, however, there is a compartment below the console, which serves as a hold, because it extends up to the bow and you can install a toilet. The gunwale is so wide that you can sit at the stern. And on the other hand, the bulwarks have a smaller thickness to give greater space to the cockpit. We could call the cockpit freestanding, that is, with the possibility of furnishing it as you like, with mobile elements, perhaps cushions, ottomans, containers that transform, or nothing to move around more freely. Under the cockpit there are 5 lockers. It certainly does not lack in storage space. 2 awnings can shade the entire deck by inserting carbon poles into the gunwale and outstretching them, or you can have the hardtop installed. The helm is essential in form and ample in space, a simple and rational style that offers space for the controls and large displays. The pilot seats and the structure on which they sit are customizable. For example, you can add a wet bar with fridge.
Adesso provate a immaginare qui un enorme prendisole e sotto.
Now try to imagine a huge sun deck here, and underneath an inboard-outboard engine, and don't limit yourself to either power or brand, because Mirko Della Pasqua also installs a 12-cylinder Ferrari.
Il Golfo di Napoli è sferzato da venti con raffiche da 20.
The Gulf of Naples is lashed by winds with gusts of 25, 30, 35 knots. Well, they are changing. What is getting worse is the sea, with increasingly higher waves.
La condizione è ideale per provare un motoscafo di 7
Well, the condition is ideal for trying a 7.75 metre speedboat, which boasts high-speed characteristics. But how does it behave on these formed waves? The vessel is substantial because, excluding the motors, it weighs 2 tons and therefore they have not spared material. It is 2.5 metres wide, so it's able to be hauled on a trailer. At the stern, we have a 350 horsepower Suzuki engine. It is the one with the double counter-rotating propellers. Makes the boat much more precise en route, because when you have only one outboard with a single propeller, the hull tends to skid a little on one side, and so in manoeuvring with 2 propellers, it's more precise, even in reverse. But if you want 2 engines, the transom also allows double installation. At this moment, we have 3 people on board. Besides me is the troop that, as you know, is hidden. And in the tank that can contain at most 450 litres of fuel, we have at least 300, so we're quite heavy. You want to know how brilliant this configuration is? 3, 2, 1, go! 22, 30, 35, 40 knots.
Quanto ci abbiamo messo?
How long did it take? Well,
Lo avete visto?
did you see it on these waves? Have you heard how it cuts through them?
Questo è un aspetto importante, molto più della coperta, dei rivestimenti.
This is an important aspect, much more than the deck, the upholstery, the padding, the cabin. Always evaluate the hull's ability to keep the sea in this way when you choose a motorboat, especially if it's not very big.
Ora vi do qualche dato di navigazione. La metto in assetto.
Now I'll give you some navigation data. I put it in ascent, maybe rising the trim a bit, even if we are only at 25 knots.
E il consumo di carburante a questa andatura è inferiore ai...
The fuel consumption at this pace is less than 30 litres per hour. Not bad for a 350 horsepower.
Stiamo navigando al traverso della penisola sorrentina.
We are flying across the Sorrento Peninsula, which is wonderful, even if the air is chilly and the sea is really angry.
È facile navigare quando le condizioni...
It is easy to navigate when the conditions are ideal, but it is in these days that we understand if a boat knows how to hold up in the sea. It is also able to keep you dry despite these conditions.
La carena è incredibilmente morbida.
The hull is incredibly soft, and yet the waves here are high. And we are cruising at 35 knots. Now the consumption is a little higher. We are around 65 litres per hour.
Chi ha un cuore sportivo, chi ama la velocità,
Those who have a sporting heart, those who love speed in these conditions, with a boat like this will have fun. It's a bit like a rodeo.
il DC7 Sport nella versione racing, quella utilizzata qualche anno fa da Mirko...
The DC7 Sport in the racing version, the one used a few years ago by Mirko Della Pasqua to win the Italian Championship and the European Endurance Championship, powered by 450 horsepower, he reached a speed of 75 knots. But to keep it at that pace, it took the expert hands of a pilot. And this DC7, with 350 horses, how fast is it?
Tenete conto delle condizioni in cui...
Keep in mind the conditions in which we are sailing, not at all easy.
Oh, massima velocità raggiunta oggi in questo...
Oh, maximum speed reached today in this situation, 45 knots. The boatyard declares that in optimal conditions, with proper trim, which means adjusting the structure for the maximum performance, you get to 49 knots, and I can hardly believe it. Well, have you understood what is in the DNA of this motorboat?